From Mira literally killing people on the train to the secret about Rumi's hair that got exposed, these are the 12 crazy Huntrix secrets you missed in plain sight. Keep watching, because by the end, you'll know exactly that Huntrix might be built on lies and deception. Secret number 1. The Invisible Massacre. Let's start with a detail that is generally so dark that it will completely ruin how you view the Huntrix band. We all remember the moment where the train was absolutely swarming with some of the most vicious demons that were attacking the girls. The physical corridors were closing in, and the Huntrix were barely holding on to their defense lines. Then Mira stepped forward with maximum intensity, winds up her massive signature weapon, and unleashes a screen-shaking ultimate strike that clears the space in milliseconds. The music increases, the monsters dissolve into purple ash, and we as the audience cheer for a massive victory. But if you have an eagle eye and choose to slow down the playback scene to a crawl right before she initiates that swing, you need to look directly through the glass window of the adjacent train carriage. For a total of around 3 frames, the character animators clearly drew distinct, unmistakable silhouettes of regular, everyday human people sitting inside the train. These are innocent civilian bystanders who simply caught their own train home on a terrible night. Here is what actually happened. The exact millisecond Mira sent the shockwave with her attack, those civilian silhouettes undergo the same exact digital pixelation and dissolve the same way as the demons. They did not run away, they did not jump on another train, they did not even have the time to react to her attack, and they were just erased from existence. To prove that this is not a lazy background animation oversight, we also need to look at the grand finale of the film. When Huntrix finally defeats the Demon King, the lore establishes a strict, explicit rule that every single human soul that was stolen by demon magic is completely liberated and returned to physical life. We see crowds of missing citizens waking up in the city, but guess who will never show up in those crowd shots? The passengers from that specific train carriage. Because their physical destruction was caused by the friendly fire of a holy Huntrix warrior rather than a demonic curse, their souls fall completely outside the jurisdiction of the Demon King's restoration magic. Mira accidentally wiped out a dozen innocent people in a battle that she thought she won, and if you look back to the train scene, you can see that Mira, for a moment, is baffled after killing those demons. If your mind is already short-circuiting over these hidden details, take a second to hit that subscribe button, because this is just the first secret. We still have 11 more crazy secrets to go through, and they get more absurd one by one. Secret number 2, Rumi's lethal hair. Since we've already established the weapon's secret, here is another one. But this time, it's about Rumi. The absolute queen of controlled violence showed something crazy during the dazzling How It's Done stage performance. The choreography is extremely fast, but if you manage to pause the video during her final center pose and zoom in directly at the very tip of her long sweeping hair braid, resting at the base of the hair is a sharp, polished metal gold accessory that tapers into a highly dangerous point. When the initial character designs got leaked online, casual fans assumed that this was just a standard accessory, a traditional Korean decorative hair ribbon used in ancient historic style. However, within the context of authentic Korean culture, this accessory is strictly an element of formal ceremonial dress meant to be paired with a traditional hanbok. Rumi is up on stage rocking modern performance gear in streetwear shorts, wearing a ceremonial style accessory that just doesn't make sense. So, what is that tiny gold object doing in her hair? It is an ultra and highly aerodynamic push dagger hidden inside her fibers. Rumi is a top demon slayer who operates under a code of total battle readiness at all hours of the day. The creators designed her so that every single asset on her physical body can function as a tool to destroy those demons. If an underground demon manages to pin her wrist, strap her arm, or disarm her primary blade, she does not need her hands to execute a counter-offensive. Maybe in the next movie, we will even see her using a single high-velocity whip of her neck that she can swing by using her braid with enough rotational force to drive that gold dagger directly into the monster's skull. What do you think is happening here? Do you think she actually has this power? Let us know in the comments down below. Secret number 3, the Grand Soul Manipulation Lie. The fundamental magic system of the entire universe is built on a massive lie. You didn't know that, right? Throughout the movie, almost every single viewer completely accepted this magic system as gospel. The narrative heavily implies that the girls derive their supernatural arsenal directly from celestial energy from the Hun Moon. On the surface level, the visual evidence seems to support this too. During the high-stakes sequence, Zoey sprints forward, physically touches the glowing surface of the Hun Moon, and her signature twin knives instantly materialize in her hands. Case closed, right? Wrong. If you take a step back and analyze this combat sequence for the two girls, neither Mira nor Rumi make physical contact with the Hun Moon to call forth their gear. They simply strike the battle stance, focus their internal energy, and their weapons manifest out of thin air. To completely destroy the Hun Moon theory, you need to rewind all the way to the historical black and white prologue at the start of the film. The animation strictly showcases that the very first generation of ancient demon hunters ran through and sliced up monsters with physical weaponry centuries before the protective Hun Moon orb was ever constructed by the sorcerers. The weapons do not come from external celestial objects. They are physical outward manifestations of the hunter's internal soul. The Hun Moon does not act as a power generator. It functions as a massive cosmic center point that amplifies the internal energy already resting inside an individual. This explains every single piece of gear perfectly, reflecting the internal psychological makeup of the wielder. Rumi's sword is a blade of absolute spiritual authority. It is structural, fast, clean, and unyielding, born from a life of intense personal conflict. Mira, on the other hand, has a massive pole weapon built for raw structural reach and overwhelming force, reflecting her refusal to shrink from a threat. Zoey's compact knives look small and non-threatening, matching her bubbly exterior, but they are sharp enough to slice through even the strongest warrior. The absolute definitive proof drops during the emotional climax of the movie when Guima transfers his soul into Rumi's sword to save her life, and her weapon instantly morphs into an entirely new design layout. The weapon changed because the soul underpinning it changed, proving that these items are the living extension of their internal identities. Secret number 4. Zoey's rehearsal room plot. Remember the disaster at the Idol Awards as the most stressful sequence in the entire film. But nobody ever talks about the fact that this entire crisis was caused by a small temper tantrum from Zoey. We remember the horrors of watching the demonic doppelgangers hijack the live broadcast, perfectly performing the complex track Takedown, down to the exact syllable and vocal harmony. The characters on screen are left completely stunned, wondering how an ancient subterranean demon collective could have possibly intercepted a confidential unreleased K-pop song that had not even been uploaded to the secure server yet. The answer is quite simple and does not involve demonic telepathy or any high-tech powers from them. To find the source, you have to look at the background of the dramatic rehearsal studio argument from the previous chapter. Zoey is desperately trying to act as the group's mediator, holding her lyrics notebook openly, while Rumi suffers an artistic crisis, and Mira is sad in the corner, as the emotional tension peaks between the girls, and they refuse to cooperate. Zoey completely loses her cool for a second. She tears the page of the master notebook aggressively, chucks the entire physical ledger onto the floor in frustration, and storms out of the facility along with the rest of the squad. If we keep our eyes locked on the bottom right corner of the frame as the scene transitions to black, the lyric book is left completely abandoned on the dusty hardwood floor. The demons did not even need to run any complex mission. They literally walked into the empty, unlocked rehearsal studio, picked up a physical notebook containing the complete unreleased musical lyrics, and memorized their lines. This brief moment of massive frustration handed the enemy the exact tool they needed to dominate the world and expose Rumi's secret demonic markings to a live audience of millions, embarrassing poor Rumi in front of everyone. Secret number 5. Neon Code of Mira's Rebellion. Mira is introduced to all of us as the ultimate teenage punk rebel. She rocks a heavy scowl, pushes her peers away, and sports a violent electric pink hairstyle that contrasts sharply with the muted traditional appearance of her conservative family. A normal viewer would assume that she spent a whole weekend at a salon to make a visual statement against her parents and her old family. However, if you pause during the film in a scene where the camera pans across the family mantelpiece, you can spot a dusty childhood portrait of Mira when she was just 3 years old. Even as a toddler, she had the same exact neon pink pigment. She was not choosing the color to be edgy, she was physically born with it. This is a massive centerpiece of the movie that the animators dropped into the background to hint at her true heritage long before the third act twist. Ordinary human beings have entirely natural hair colors like black, brown, and dark blonde. The only entities that possess vibrant neon and unnatural hair pigments are characters who carry ancestral lineage. We saw this with Rumi and with many other characters. While Mira presents herself as the icy, razor-wired warrior who refuses to show vulnerability, pink is the universal symbol of warmth, open love, and emotional sensitivity. In the end, she also has demon heritage, much like Rumi. Secret number 6. Rumi's braid link. Rumi's structural hair braid is often praised by the finest stylists as a stylistic choice, but it actually serves as a massive historical continuity that connects her to the absolute origin of demon hunting within the traditional East Asian historical context, which is highly specific. There's a highly specific, tightly woven braid pattern. These braids were not just a casual beauty trend, they were heavily regulated symbols that had high imperial status, noble lineage, and absolute physical self-control. By giving Rumi this precise architectural hair arrangement, the creators were visually making her a figure of immense structural authority before she ever picked up the sword. The real secret, however, is hidden inside a tiny 3-second background shot during the crowded Sunlight Sisters Street Festival performance. If you freeze the frame and analyze the generic background crowd model, you can spot a mature human woman standing near the back rail who is sporting the exact same complex multi-tiered braid structure as Rumi, except her hair is completely naturally black. The character model is officially confirmed to be Rumi's biological mother, proving the specific hair technique is an elite family tradition passed down through generations. We are officially halfway through the list of this absolute madness, which means it is time for a quick reality check. If you're watching this video and realizing that you missed every single one of these hidden details on your first viewing, you need to subscribe to the channel right now. Secret number 7. The emotional reason behind Rumi's demonic markings. Rumi's glowing facial markings are one of the most striking elements of her design, but almost every casual fan misunderstands the physical trigger behind them. Scroll through any theory forum, and you'll find the consensus is that these lines function like a standard anime power meter, bursting onto her skin as she takes heavy damage or drains her combat stamina. However, there's another thing that most people notice. These markings have nothing to do with external threats. Instead, they align internally with the emotional suppression she constantly endures. The constant pressure to maintain a stoic, icy exterior keeps her chaotic teammates focused. Whenever she flashes a fake corporate smile for the camera, now choked with personal trauma, the lines on her neck darken and burn. This is the true reason behind her demonic markings. Secret number 8. The soulless choreography of Saja Boys. The rebel pop group, the Saja Boys, are often dismissed as secondary antagonists meant to provide petty workplace drama. However, if we look closer at their choreography, we will find that they are the structural shadow selves of our main trio. The individual pairings are highly precise. The lead vocalist also shares Rumi's exact voice placement, breath, timing, and rigid performance posture. The member targeting Mira moves with the same aggressive forward momentum and low center of gravity. The Saja Boy positioned against Zoey is a machine of technical precision, matching the detail-oriented focus Zoey brings to the group's back-end logistics. They represent the old, empty perfection of predatory industrialism, stripped of everything. Defeating them in the final battle isn't about a competition, it's about symbolically conquering the soulless version of themselves that prioritized corporate performance over true purpose. Secret number 9. The Idol Awards stage. Now, let's talk about the production design of the Global Idol Awards, which is a visual masterpiece. However, the physical geometry of the stage hides a huge historical parallel. The glowing neon pillars, circular floor layout, and overhead rigs are just standard expensive set pieces. But if we overlay these blueprints onto the background artwork of the ancient ruins from the prologue, the match is flawless. The positions of the neon pillars align perfectly with the ancient stone columns where the original demon hunters fought the first documented containment battle around 1,000 years ago. The modern media circus takes place directly on the physical grave of the first demonic intersection zone on Earth. The scenery handles the heavy lifting of the lore, proving that the modern heroes are standing in the exact spatial footprint of their ancestors, fighting the same war throughout time. This is often the case with many action movies, cartoons, and TV shows. Secret number 10. The tactical-seeming K-pop outfits are notoriously impractical for combat, but the Huntrix gear hides a unique tactical brilliance. If we freeze the frame during the high-speed choreography transitions of the takedown sequence, the lateral panels running along the right side of each girl's costume are constructed with significantly thicker, multi-layered compression fabric and reinforced double-stitched seams. These aren't just decorative elements to improve their fit, they are low-profile tactical weapon holsters. The tech department custom engineered these outfits so that the girls can transition from a synchronized dance routine straight into a black ops raid without really changing clothes. The fabric completely masks the outlines of throwing knives, smoke pellets, and containment seals, keeping their public appearance perfect. The Huntrix walk onto every live broadcast fully strapped, treating their idol careers as a clean front for the ongoing military operation. Secret number 11. Guima's invisible environmental aura vulnerability. Long before any blade or spiritual blast ever connected with the main antagonist, Guima, during the final showdown. The core visual style of the animation completely spoiled the fact that he is going to lose the battle. When Guima dominates the scene, his purple demonic aura is smooth, fluid, and visually overwhelming, occupying a heavy portion of the screen and putting a lot of pressure on all the characters in the frame. However, if we watch the environmental effects very carefully, we notice a massive visual glitch effect. This occurs exactly when the three main girls stop bickering, put aside their personal differences, and align their bodies perfectly in spatial harmony. At this moment, the smooth purple flames surrounding Guima's body instantly break apart into jagged, regular pixels, and his movement frame rate noticeably drops lower than the rest of the scene. The production team integrated this aesthetic message of the movie directly into the technical rendering software of the animation. Guima's ultimate vulnerability lies in his magic artifact or hidden physical weak point on his body. His little kryptonite is the emotional and spatial unity of the Huntrix band. When the girls operate as a single flawless unit, the structural integrity of the demon realm completely falls, causing the antagonist's power to physically short-circuit before a single punch is ever thrown. Secret number 12. Zoey's silent beauty standard. The final secret focuses on a small, beautiful detail embedded within Zoey's character model that highlights something incredible. It underscores the thoughtfulness of the production team. If we pause the video during the quiet golden hour sunset scene on the balcony and look closely at a high-definition close-up of Zoey's face, you can see the scattering of light and natural freckles across the bridge of her nose and the upper cheeks. In the mainstream East Asian entertainment ecosystem, hyper-flawless, glass-like skin is treated as an absolute non-negotiable requirement for pop idols. Natural skin textures like freckles, sunspots, and moles are often viewed as aesthetic imperfections that must be completely covered with foundation. By deliberately choosing to draw and preserve these realistic facial freckles on Zoey's face, the character animators are making a powerful statement against these unrealistic and often toxic beauty standards of the K-pop industry. The amount of effort needed to make something like K-pop Demon Hunters is quite absurd. Which one surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments down below, and subscribe to the channel for more videos where we uncover every single aspect of K-pop Demon Hunters.